So a week after I took a look at the Gardevoir League Champ deck, I decided to pick up another. I'm not a big... I enjoy these. I like having at least one in the collection because it looks cool with all the other decks. But another reason I like to get them is like little additions and stuff, and they're the same between these. But I just said screw it, I want to pick up a second one. So this one we have Gabriel Fernandez, I hope I said that right, with the Colorless Lugia deck. Very creative name. But of course, these are the non-tournament legal decks, as they are reprinted decks, from the Yokohama World Championships in 2023. Unironically, I mentioned this last time, but one of my favorite reasons to pick these decks up is just because of this. And another reason that I decided to pick this one up, gonna seem real petty, but this one has like some damage to it. The one from my last one. It's very minor, but it kind of bothers me. Like, I can't get it to flatten or whatever. And, I don't know, Collector Brain said, look, I'd like to do more decks anyways, so might as well just do it and have one that isn't, you know, beat up. But yeah, it's just an interesting little thing. Kind of tells you all of the standings. You get some nice, like, shots from the event itself. It's a cool little thing. So then, it comes with the, as I mentioned last time, very thick, kind of heavy pin for the Yokohama, Japan 2023 World Championship. It does say, like, Pokemon official pin, made in China. But, yeah, like, it's surprisingly heavy. I also love that they use these rubber, clips for the back of their pins. I don't know if you guys are familiar with pins, or how familiar you are, I suppose is how I should word that. Anyways, the metal ones suck. So you can see most of these pins have, like, a little divot put into them, right? And that is for the metal clip style backings to these pins. They can kind of clip into the, I guess, imperfection, the divot put into the post. But they wear out over time and they don't do so well. These rubber ones, they're made with holes that are smaller than the post itself. So what it's actually doing is it's forcing the rubber to expand, and it grips onto the pin really snug. I actually have a little bag with like 100 of these inside because of how much better these hold. So I just love that the Pokemon Company uses those like standard for most of their pins. Anyways, we also have our playmat here. It's a poster on one side, then a playmat on the other. Very decorative looking playmat. And it's a nice little poster. Then we have the very unique coin that they chose to do for this year, kind of mimicking the standard coins with this design going on here in the background, you know, just the reflective plastic paint. But now with a very nice image of Pikachu enjoying some ramen. Then we have a code card for the items that come with this deck. And of course, the backings here for the World Championships 2023 being green for the Colorless Lugia deck. Ironic that it's not colorless. We have the Lugia V-Star. Lugia V-Star with a signature here from the player himself. And of course, they don't do holo effects for any of these World Championship cards, which is always, it makes them unique to me. Because, you know, normally you would only see this card as a holo, because we had someone go to the World Championship Series, do well enough to be one of the 4 decks that was made, that they now produced a version of it without the holo. So it is a unique version of this Lugia card that you can't get anywhere else, even if it wasn't for the signature. But then finally, we have the deck for Colorless Lugia. I just love the design of the decks this year. I think this is basically the same as last time, but this is different. They designed the inner flap and even the inside of the box itself. It kind of reminds me of these weird, like, artisan, like, playing cards that me and my girlfriend bought. It was 7 decks. You know, why don't I just go grab it? 7 Deadly Sins themed playing cards. You open this thing up, and you have a deck for each sin. So if we take one like Greed here, you have this, like, outer sleeve that kind of depicts it as greed. But then when you take this off, this is just one solid repeating pattern, which honestly looks pretty nifty, especially when it's still in its outer sleeve. The inside is just white. I don't know why in my head I thought it wasn't. But just, like, nice attention to detail on these. They all have, like, unique artwork. That's kind of how I think about, like, when it comes to the, so the more, like, unique Pokemon products is taking a look at some of these more, like, artisan designed, like, things, like, you know, just playing cards here. It's a really neat little thing, and you can take some of their like attention or detail that they apply to some of this stuff, and apply it to your bigger products. In this case, being a large franchise like Pokemon. I feel like a lot of the deck design that we get for Pokemon Company and Pokemon card stuff is very bland, basic, boring, and repetitive. I like this. I think that this is a really nice design. And the fact that they even did it on the inside is just cool to me. Anyways, let's get a look at the deck itself. So we have some V-Guard energies and some therapeutic energies. The last deck we looked at only had one special type of energy. We also have Gift, and we have Jet, 4 Jet as well. Must be very useful here. 4 double turbos, which is all they had in the other one. It looks like, yeah, they only use these special energies. They don't have a single standard energy in here. So, of course, we have Choice Belt. We have Nest Ball to search for some basics. We have Ultra Ball. What was it specific to again? Right, you can look for any Pokemon, but you have to discard, which is fine. You got 4 of those. Capturing Aroma. Flip a coin and look through your deck. We have Path to the Peak, the Collapsed Stadium. So they have 2 different stadium cards. I'm certainly not professional. I probably should have mentioned that off the bat. I don't play the card game much at all anymore. But it feels like, to me, these are very situational. And one of these two, in my head, again, I don't know how the meta is going. In my head, one of these stadiums is here just to counter a meta deck. There has to be a deck that is super meta right now. And one of these stadiums they intend to use for a majority of their play, and the other they intend to use to attempt to counter another meta deck. But that is just me guessing. Professor Burnett, wasn't that card like the weird one that they featured in like the it might have been Celebrations boxes as like a promo. We have some Professor's Researches as always. We have Lono, who I've been seeing a lot more of. We have Boss's Orders as always. Pumpkaboo, and from Astral Radiance, they actually went with the Full Art Weird Ear V. Once during your turn, when this Pokemon moves from your bench to your active spot, you may move any amount of energy from your other active Pokemon to it. Interesting. Radiant Tessrina. Okay, so some of these Radiants do have uses. The last one did have Radiant Greninja as well, and I've seen him in other decks too. I think it's my first time seeing Radiant Tessrina in a deck. We have our Slacking V. A lot of V's in here. The Drapion V. We have Snorlax, probably just here for it, being a basic with 180 damage thumping Snore. This Pokemon is now asleep. During Pokemon checkup, flip 2 coins instead of 1. If either of them is tails, this Pokemon is still asleep. Ooh. So you can get 1 solid hit off, and then it's probably not safe to keep playing him after that. Prevents all effects and attacks and damage on your Pokemon. Okay, cool. So 2 of him, so you can, theoretically do it twice. Another V Luminion. I know that one's actually very useful, so you got 2 of those, makes sense. 4 Archeops, and then our beautiful Lugia V. Discard a card from your hand. If you do, draw 3 cards. Pretty useful for deck cycling. And then Aerodive, you may discard a stadium in play. Could also be useful if he just wants to get the stadium out, without taking up part of his turn anyways. So 4 Lugia Vs. And then, of course, we have a 3rd Lugia V-Star, because it came with the 2 already. And then there was a 3rd one in here as well. The other deck, the Gardevoir, only used the 2, so they had 1 less. But that deck was huge on hand deck cycling, so I suppose you don't necessarily need 3 with the other setup that we saw in that Gardevoir deck. But again, don't take anything I'm saying as scripture. I'm very much not an expert at all. I'm just kind of guessing based on what I'm seeing here. But a pretty nice little product here. But now it is time for the bonus card of the day. Explanation right down there in the corner. And, ooh, we have a promo card this time. So I had no idea that this was a thing. My girlfriend did. During a certain period of time, if you placed an order at the Pokemon Company, well, the Pokemon Center, you would get this promo Swirl Edge card. So we're going to open this one up. Yes, whenever she hears about something like this, if she decides that she wants to order something anyways, she just won't tell me about it and just let it be a surprise. I actually don't remember what this one looks like. So this is very different, by the way, for the bonus card of the day, as I don't really have to guess the year like I normally do with these, because it's from this year. Yeah, it comes with this little, like, certification thing. Oh, that's neat. Pokemon Horizons the series. That's a pretty cool little advertisement card. I feel like they don't do advertisement cards very often in card games anymore. I like that. That's cool. I want them to bring this kind of stuff back. But we have the 2024 Pokemon Day Swirl Edge stamped card. I love my stamped cards way too much. And I assume this one's going to have some value behind it, seeing as one of those, like, you know, you have to order within a certain period of time, limited quantity thing on the Pokemon Center. Very, very happy to add this one to the collection. So if you guys enjoyed today's video, give it a like, hit that button there. I guess on screen, I'll just link the other deck that we did, the Gardevoir, I can't remember exactly what it was called, like Gardevoir Elegance or something like that. And as always, there'll be a playlist of all of my Pokemon videos. I really do hope that you guys enjoyed, and hopefully, I'll see all of you guys next time. Goodbye for now.